Okay, with word problems, I gave you a little trick when we were going over these in our notes that if you ever get confused because they're fractions and you're looking at a problem, you're like, I'm not really sure what I need to do, replace the numbers with easy whole numbers and see what would happen there. Okay, so if you think, okay, the science textbook, let's say it's a really, really big textbook, it's let's say 5 inches thick, and you have, let's say, a 15-inch shelf. And I want to know, okay, how many of these books will fit on this shelf? What would you do? Well, you would divide. You would figure out that, oh, well, 3 of those books can fit. How did you do that? You took the shelf, which was 15, and you divided it by the book's width. So in this case, we took 15 and divided it by 5, and that's how we got 3. Well, that is just going to help you figure out what we need to do. We're taking the length of the shelf and dividing it by the width of the book. Okay, so this is what it would look like. 33 is the length of the shelf divided by 1 3/8. That's the width of the book. So at this point, you're going to put a 1 underneath this as a whole number. You're going to keep, change, flip. And whatever answer that you get, just ask yourself, is it reasonable, right? We should get something, in the 20s to 30 range. If you get a fraction as your answer, you know that there's something not quite right about that. Okay, moving on. The Dodgers played 42 games and won 5/14 of them. Now, we have talked many times about this word of and what it means in mathematics. And so hopefully you remember that of always means to multiply. That is a really sad multiplication dot, trying to make it really big. Okay, so if you want to put a little X over here, you can think of it that way, but this always means to multiply. So if you wanted to know how many they had won, you would take 5/14, we would multiply by the 42 games that they've played. Okay, and so you put a 1 underneath here, and we can actually cross simplify. Now you might not have noticed that 14 goes into 42, but hopefully you know that 7 goes into both of those, right? So if you divide by 7, you'd get 2 down here and 6 up here, and then, oh, you're like, huh, I can keep going because 2 goes into both of these. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay, so when I'm all ready to multiply, I've simplified as much as I can. Let's just go ahead and do it. I have 5 times 3, which is 15. And then 1 times 1 is 1. I don't really even need to write that. But have I answered the question? Let's kind of reread this. The Dodgers played 42 games and won 5/14 of them. Oh, so they won 15. So that's how much they did. They won 15, but the question is, how many did they lose? So if they played 42 and they won 15, what's left to have lost? And to be honest with you guys, I'm sitting here thinking about this. I'm not sure if you can tie in a baseball game, but let's assume that you can't. You either win or you lose. I need to ask my husband and my son about that. But anyway, hope that helps.